Hi, I'm Mac McCarthy, and I help people with their breakups. And today we're going to talk about themes and archetypes to breakups. Specifically, pick a flavor of your favorite breakup theme. So, what you don't realize is while you're in a breakup or in a relationship, situationship, where you're not talking, you're in a gray area, you've picked a couple themes. And these themes, as my phone goes off here, these themes are universal. So what do I mean by that? What's up, Jesse? Everyone has these themes. Okay, these come up again and again and again. And you think that, some of them are highly relatable, some of them you think are very unique to you. The bottom line is they come up again and again. I'll just see these over and over and over again in breakups. And the problem with them is they're partially true, but once you develop this liking for a certain theme or a certain umbrella, it limits your perspective. And the way it limits your perspective is that it makes you think that everything that's related to what's bad in this breakup or this situationship or these issues you have are related to this one theme that you keep filtering back through. So let me explain this to you. Let me first tell you that if you go to Chat GPT, and I have these in the show notes, right? And you were to say, the question would be themes of a breakup. Okay. And it would come up with this. Breakups can invoke a multitude of themes and emotions, both universal, personal. Here are common themes associated with the experience of a breakup: loss and grief. Extremely general. Okay. That as a theme does not narrow it down. Pretty much everyone feels some kind of loss or grief. Okay. So stay with me on this. Number two, heartache and pain, which is very similar to loss and grief. Self-reflection and growth, acceptance and healing, identity and self-worth, independence and autonomy, closure and resolution, forgiveness and compassion, hope and renewal, connection and support. Now, here's what's ironic. These are big words, important words. They don't have as much substance. Does that make sense? It's like, and I find this in TV now and a lot of YouTube videos. They use these kind of big words that are very general. Okay. And I'm going to go over my themes that are a little bit more specific. Okay. And a little bit more fun and a little bit more simplified than hope and renewal. By the way, hope and renewal, I don't see a whole lot when someone's in the middle of a breakup. That's usually when they're out of the woods. So to me, the breakup archetypes, and if you look at in this side view right here, just to re-clarify what an archetype is a model, a pattern, or a universally recognizable idea that can be seen in literature and art. Really what it is there's a bunch of people agree on something. So for example, if someone was to say, Jesse Chapman reminds me of a king, and Jesse goes, yeah, I'm a pretty kingly individual, actually. Jesse Chapman reminds me of a warrior. He's a warrior. Jesse goes, yeah, I'm a warrior. Someone says, Jesse's a healer. Jesse goes, wait a minute. That doesn't line up with me. That doesn't resonate. These are archetypes. People around the world in different languages could translate that and relate to it and go, oh, okay, I know what you mean. Because since the beginning of time, there's been kings and queens. And so it's really easy for someone to go, oh, yeah, I know what a king is, right? Their grandparents know what that is, their aunts or uncles. There's a congruence to that. There's a bunch of stories surrounding kings and queens. There's a bunch of stories and myths around being warriors, okay? Healers. What we have now in the 21st century in 2024, we still have kings and queens and those kinds of things, but someone's in a breakup, and the biggest one is narcissism, right? Clinical accusations. So let me get into what I've come up with. Okay. Here's some of them. Number one, the high achiever. Okay. So if someone's a high achiever, they they get A's in school, they get to their finish lines and goals eventually over time. They solve problems with perseverance, courage, hard work. They're hard workers, high achievers are. They get in a breakup, they have a lot of trouble because they want you to give them work. They want you to give them a model or protocol that they can follow, some some things to do. And so a high achiever gets into a breakup and they're just looking for information to fix the problem, to overcome the issue and achieve what they want to achieve. And the problem with relationships is it doesn't translate very well for the high achiever because the high achiever keeps thinking, I got to do some things. And maybe in the breakup, it's like this person's no longer attracted to you. They met someone else. Um, things aren't working out. And that person doesn't see that. They're like, there's got to be a way. There's got to be a way for me to overcome this, which can become extremely unattractive to the other person because you're not listening. Now, what the high achiever has going for them is usually on paper within their society or subculture, they look really good. They usually have a good job. They get things done. Um, they probably make good money. They probably go to the gym, those kinds of things. What makes it more difficult is like, what did I miss? I'm this great person. Why would someone ever want to break up with me? And they have a lot of trouble accepting it. So a high achiever, that's kind of an archetype. The theme that they have is, I'm not going to give up. I'm going to fight for the relationship. That's the theme that they keep having, which they feel is admirable, which is admirable when you're trying to become a doctor or when you're trying to become a uh, big time lawyer. What's different is if you're going to be a lawyer or a doctor or an academic or a professor, there's a protocol. People go, all right, go to this school, get these grades, go to this level. Okay, work harder at this. Relationships, sometimes it's not about working harder. It's about accepting we can't fix the problems. All right, so the next one would be that I'm not good enough. So this is just a very common theme. Okay, and people think they're the only ones that ever felt this, that the person that left them feels like they're not good enough, not good looking enough, don't make enough money, whatever it is. But that's the overlying theme to them, and it really hurts them. And maybe one time before someone told them like, I'm just not attracted to you anymore, or you're not good enough, whatever it is. That's a very common theme to simplify it. And they'll literally say, I just feel like I'm not good enough. That theme is usually not directly related to your breakup, but it's just an overlying theme from a very common way that comes about sometimes is someone that's in a family of 3 or 4 siblings. There was a favorite, an older brother that got all the attention and was the superstar. And you were the black sheep in the family. You were the one that didn't get as much attention. That theme carries out as an adult that you're not good enough when things don't go your way because it's just reoccurring. Now, during the breakup, that particular theme is really difficult because breaking up is a straight rejection. Them saying things just aren't working out. I'm not in love with you anymore. That doesn't translate that way. It translates to you're not good enough. And it's a spiraling theme. The good news is once you're in a breakup, if you're aware of that and you surface it, you can work with it. Now, some people that don't feel like they're good enough can translate that into working harder, driving themselves. Some of these people that don't feel like they're good enough, they're extremely high achievers, but they keep pushing for more. They're the types of people that um, $1 million is enough. They want to go for 2 million. They want to go for 3 million. Um, it drives them to be one of the hardest workers at the gym because in their head they're like, it's not good enough. It's not good enough. Now that could be detrimental, but it can drive them. They got to get a hold of that. In a breakup, it's not very good. Now the next one is the hard worker. Now, all of these are a little bit similar, but they're not exact same. The hard worker doesn't necessarily translate into being a high achiever. They just believe in hard work. They have a lot of trouble in breakups because they're looking for you to give them some kind of hard work. And when someone says, "Hey, go no contact, let that person go," that's not hard work. That's giving up. And that really doesn't translate to them. They keep looking for more information on how to work hard because hard work pays off for money. It pays off for, getting through sports, a lot of different things. Hard work is good. Working harder at a breakup doesn't translate. Letting go, accepting what happened, and thinking about, all right, what are the problems here? Are they solvable? That doesn't translate well for the hard worker. Number 4, the romantic. The romantic looks at it like, uh, there's something I can do that's sweet and kind that'll turn this around, or they don't appreciate how sweet and kind I am. Again, the romantic has a place in courting and dating, but during the breakup, they have their own troubles too because of their approach is sweet and kind, and they feel like that usually works. It doesn't always work during a breakup, and letting go is hard for them. Everyone knows this the type of person, the hard ass, the stubborn person. I'll never talk to you again. Um, what you did, I'll never forgive you. And if you look at the stubborn person, they're stubborn in a lot of things in their life. Stubbornness can serve you, just like the hard worker, to stay with something, to persevere. In a breakup, sometimes it works against people. The next one would be, I know I have value already. Hit the ground running. And these are the people that get accused of rebounding quickly. Okay. Like someone's like, oh, they're already with someone. They hit the ground running. They're doing really good. And these people do the best in breakups. And really what it is they've mastered themselves. They've learned their faults. They've come to a place where they're highly secure with themselves. And so when they're in a breakup, they hurt, they cry, they get upset. But they have a lot of options because everyone sees what you see. And so these types usually do the best. And just to repeat, the people that know they have value already, know they're enough, do good things, are able to let go, are able to say, you know what, if I'm not good enough, that's fine with me because I'm good enough for myself. Number 7, the hot one, the highly attractive individual. Now, these people have a lot of options out of the breakup. They also have a lot of trouble with rejection because they're not used to it. They usually get a lot of attention. They usually have people fawning over them. So it's really difficult for them in a breakup. It was my fault. These are the guilt riders, the people that constantly are taking fault, that they could have done this, shoulda, coulda, woulda. I know I said this wrong. They're going over those things over and over and over again. The victim. So no matter what happens in the breakup, you did something wrong to them. You never cared about them. And this is usually an archetype that's within their life that they go to when they don't get the results they want. It's not fair. You never loved me. You never cared about me. These are extremely difficult people to break up with because they're creative and manipulative and guilt net throwing. The delusional liar. People like that one. They make up shit when they break up. It's like, oh, you did this. It's like, that never even happened. It's desperate. It's non-accountable. It's reassuring to the person that broke up with them that, oh my God, they're just a liar. How did I deal with someone like this? And post breakup, if someone's lying, you should be in a point where the truth should prevail. And so if someone's a delusional liar post breakup, it'll push you farther apart if you're a healthy individual on the other end of that. The name caller. It's cheap, it's impulsive, it's immature. You broke up, you're bitter, you're hurt, you want them to feel what you feel. And so in doing so, you call them names and you do things in a low standard. These individuals sometimes will manipulate the other person to feel like crap or shit. And then in turn, the person comes back to them because they don't believe they can do better. This is extremely toxic behavior, but it's out there. The delusional liar, I already said that. They never loved me. Big theme. They never loved me. They never cared about me. Book a live coaching session. We'll go through that. But if that's your theme, it's not a good one. It's not a good one. It's not going to serve you moving forward. You got to unpack that a little bit. And if you somehow accepted that or didn't see that, then you need some work to do. The dreamer. The dreamer is someone that anything's possible. They create storylines that are fantasy based sometimes, and it can work for them or against them. During the breakup, and I'm not talking about just having dreams, I'm talking about dreaming up scenarios, and this could be negative or positive. Dreaming up elaborate scenarios of stories or outcomes that haven't happened, but they somehow feel like they know that's what's going to happen. The experienced heartbreaker, the player, the one that's had a lot of relationships, the one that doesn't mind starting fresh over again and feels like they're really good at attracting a partner in the future. Now, you'd think these individuals do really well. They do well in certain breakups, but then there's breakups where they're shocked, where they didn't see it's coming, and they're really ego flattened because they always think I'm a player. I get these I've heard it from men a lot. Oh, I've always gotten women whenever I want them. I've heard it from women too. Like I've always gotten men. And then they're heartbroken at one point because it's like, this one surprised me though. Really, they got a taste of their own medicine is what it is. The enabler, I know she's bad for me, but I know they're a drinker. This is usually related to alcoholism or drug addicts, but it also can be related to you're with someone that's a complete loser that doesn't really do anything with their life, and you continually support them. That could be another one. And so enabler is someone that they almost feel bad breaking up. It's pity based. They feel significant in your life, but it's not something that involves being in love with someone that they feel is equal or higher value, or someone that motivates them or is admirable. It's more like taking care of a wounded bird, right? This is another theme. They used me. If that's true, and that's possibly true, what role did you play in it? You just found out after the breakup, or it just became apparent after the breakup? Do you have a history of letting people use you? You need to be accountable. You need to fight your own battles. You need to be more aware of that. The sabotager, the person that created the problem and now is saying, I can't believe I did this. The anxious attachment. You're so attached. You're so desperate. You'll do anything to get them back. That's a theme that's extremely toxic for yourself because you're not seeing the whole playing field. The researcher. The researcher is a big one, right? With the internet, they get into a breakup and they just go online, and this is probably much more common in 2024 than ever before. They get in a breakup and they buy 10 books, they watch 1,000 videos, and they do research, but they don't take action. Or they do research until they find something that's the easy fix, hey, pay me $300 to get your ex back kit, or that kind of a thing. Oh, this is going to be the quick fix. Oh, this is going to be it. Possibly. And the researcher tends to be longer in the area of accepting the breakup, right? What's up, Miguel? They have trouble accepting the breakup. The person that researches a lot, because they get lost in new concepts, and what they do is they divide their attention from recovery, from accepting the issues, to, oh, here's another viewpoint. Oh, here's another viewpoint, and none of the viewpoints are yours, and none of the research you've done is based on your individual relationship, right? None of the research. So when you're getting all this research done about your breakup and your relationship, it's extremely generalized. It's like if you went and did research on dieting. I've never done this before. And you're looking for research on ways that you could still eat ice cream every night and lose 10 pounds. You'll find it somewhere on the internet, like, oh no, there's this great ice cream. And if you only eat carrots during the day, you're going to find it. You'll find what you're looking for. That's the dangerous part of the internet now. Doesn't mean it's going to work. Miguel, I feel outstanding. Thanks for asking. I'm back on deck, my friend. The action taker. The action taker has a lot of trouble in breakups because they keep wanting to do something, because that's who they are. They don't like to sit around. And they want to channel that into doing something with an interaction with their ex, calling, texting, posting a photo to get their attention. So no contact is something that they really don't like doing. Doesn't mean like no contact's always the game. I would say if you're an action taker, the best action to take is to book a session with myself or another coach or therapist out there and fully unpack your breakup. You're an action taker? Yeah. So, like, if you're gonna channel the action, instead of texting them or calling them, the other action is not to research 10,000 hours. Would be like, all right, let me contact some people that are specialists in this. Let me see which one works. Let me see what they have to say. Action takers are very high achievers a lot of times. I can't believe they actually left me. I'm so great. This is a big one. Everyone would think this was a narcissist. So, um, I see this with men a lot, but I've had women and that are beside themselves because on paper they're a superstar. They look good, they feel pretty good, they're pretty confident. They usually have really good jobs. They make good money, and so when the person breaks up with them, they're like, "What did I miss? You broke up with me? Are you serious? You're never gonna find someone like me." The person they're with now is straight trash garbage. They're so below me. And the answer to that, I usually tell people, well, if you're that great and I like your confidence, and I do like confidence, I think that there's a big thing in America for people to talk nice about themselves or to big themselves up. And that when you see successful people, they always talk good about themselves. There's a limit, there's a line. But getting back to this, if you're, I can't believe they broke up with me, like, look what everything, then you should be in a situation where you can find someone equal or higher value. It shouldn't affect you that much. People don't usually like that response, but they have to think from it. If I'm so great, it makes me think of this one client I had a while back. This is years back. She's a 28-year-old woman. She was a lawyer. She made really good money. I could tell by the way she was talking. She had a really nice place. And this guy they hooked up multiple times and it was good, but she bought him a gift, some kind of plant or something like that. And she had called him a few times and he just wasn't that interested. He just wanted to hook up, play around, give some attention, push, pull. He was a player. And she didn't get it. Like, he's not on your wavelength. He's not interested in a serious relationship. He's not as attracted to you as you are attracted to him. She was thinking, like, I don't get it. And she was filtering that into how he was so rude about receiving some gift she gave that he should be more thankful for. The reality was there was a lot of guys fawning over her, and there was a lot of incidents where guys were chasing her. And so when this guy didn't do that, it was foreign to her, and she couldn't accept it. But as we combed through it, it helped out. The planner. So the planner during a breakup, um, they want to have a plan. And unfortunately, breakups can be planned, but they usually aren't. And usually you might go, all right, this is what I'm going to do, but it's going to be hard as hell. It's like, all right, I'm going to go into no contact for a month. All right, I'm going to block them on my social media. All right, I'm going to do this. So they plan these things out. But you can't really, that's the planner. I would go, all right, give it 30 days of no contact. Not because it worked, because they just need a plan and some finish lines. The planner also will go through things like, we were going to get a house, we were going to get married, they go through all the plans. And that's okay. Go through the plans. But at some point you have to let go of it. And what you do is you put the planning archetype or theme into you as an individual, right? What are you going to do as an individual with your plans? And that might take 2 or 3 months because you're used to fitting them into your plans. The servant. They were someone in the relationship that did everything for the other person, that found self-worth in serving the other person. And when they break up, they think like, how could you break up with me? Because I did so much for you. You never appreciated me. They usually fall under the victim umbrella. And the reality is some people that are the servant or always serving their partner, they're really good partners. But if you're bitter at the end of that, then you need to reassess how you're having your relationships. Are you doing it with the guarantee that you're going to be together? Are you doing this service to this other person with some kind of appreciation? There's the martyr, the person that bears the cross after the breakup that they went through so much. And a lot of people have. And if you're the martyr, you need to take some time. Don't be surprised though if you tell everyone how bad you had it, that someone had it worse. Don't be surprised if you tell everyone how bad it was, that some people don't care. Some people laugh. Someone might say, "Oh man, my ex-wife, she pulled a gun on me and then she threw me out of the house and she shot at the car." And someone's laughing about the story. And the other person's like, "What? Why is that so funny to you? I was actually in it." Because it's not relative to them. And so if you're the martyr and you're feeling like, "Wow, I just went through all these things," go to a person that's a therapist or a coach to listen to it. Because when you share those kinds of things that are really deep, sometimes you have the wrong audience and it'll just make you feel worse. There's the liar or the consummate liar. So you break up and they're just lying throughout the breakup. And you knew they were kind of an exaggerator before. You knew they kind of lied, but now during the breakup, it really comes to the surface. And the backbone of every good relationship is trust. There's white lies, there's harmless lies, and then there's lies that really count. But then there's lies that you're like, I was there. That's just a blatant lie. The worst liars are the people that, and you've probably come across some friends or family members, if not a partner, they actually believe the lie. They just remembered the whole thing. Oh, that's not what I said. And you're like, nah, I remember. I have trouble with people like this because I have a really good memory. Am I someone that's never lied in my life? Hell no, I'm not perfect. At this stage of my life, I'm extremely truthful. It comes with age. It's part of a lot of times when people lie. And the worst liars, like I said, they actually believe the lie. I remember in high school, there was 2 guys that were friends of friends. Different people, they're different groups of friends, and they were just consummate liars. They're just liars. They just would exaggerate things, and it was more about showing off. They would just make up whoppers, just big stories, and you knew it, and it was like, fine. When you're in a relationship with someone that lies a lot, it's really detrimental because where does reality come in? If you start accepting their lies, you're a part of the lie. Um, the psychopath. I think this is probably more common than we think, and I wouldn't have said this years back. Psychopaths only care about themselves, and they don't even know if they care about themselves. A psychopath is someone that has no care for anyone. Um, they're results based for themselves. And I'm sure I'm getting this wrong. Someone will be like, "Oh, that's not a psychopath." And a lot of people that are highly successful in sports and business are psychopaths. They're extremely driven. Um, they don't mind if someone gets hurt in the process. And these individuals during a breakup, um, they're cunning, they're manipulative. And a lot of people might want a narcissist or some of these other things. But this is probably the most dangerous form of a relationship with one of these individuals, because the whole reason you're in a relationship is to serve each other, care about each other, be there for each other. The heartless, which would be a lighter version of a psychopath, someone that you feel like this is a theme to your breakup. Oh, they never cared. Um, they always didn't like me. Okay. If you think someone else has no heart or anything like that, let's book a live session. Let's go through it, because it's not going to serve you to have that theme for a long time. Now, as far as the personality disorders like borderline personality disorder, bipolar, those are clinical terms that used to be only allowed for a certain group of clinically um, certified individuals, right? What the internet has done is these certified individuals that, for example, a psychiatrist from Harvard, right? They share all their information on YouTube. Well, this is what a narcissist, this is what it is. And what's interesting about that, they don't want you to diagnose anyone, but they're sharing all the diagnosing secrets. It's kind of ironic, right? It's like, well, this is what this is. Always remember this. This is a really good piece of information for the 5 fucking people on deck right now. Always remember this. Write this down. There's narcissists, there's borderline personality disorder, there's um, all these other ones. Okay. Maybe you've become a specialist through your research. You can research things now and know just as much as a Harvard psychiatrist does in the books. Where it differs is are you actually talking to people about their problems? Okay, so like I've had people before that through Instagram or through YouTube are like, "Well, do you know about this disorder? Do you know about that?" And they're in a clinical program or Rutgers University or one of these universities, and that's all they want to talk about. And the book says this, the book says that, and we have these labels and these themes. First of all, any label such as these personality disorders, they were it's they were made up fairly recently. So you don't look at like the 1800s or the 1700s and it's like, oh, King Louis the 14th had narcissism. Right? We don't look at like Geronimo from the Apache tribe was a borderline personality disorder classic. These are fairly new. They're academic. What they've done is one sect of culture, which are clinicians, have decided like, hey, let's put together this archetype that we can all agree that this certain type of behaviors with an S, multiple behaviors, we can put it into one group. And that way it'll be easier to diagnose people. Nothing wrong with that. Okay, I'm not opposed to it. It's a lot of work in doing that, right? There's been over the years different people that have come up with different disorders and different things. Okay, fine. Totally fine. The problem is not the people that are all diagnosing, because like I said, all these people have YouTube channels now that are psychiatrists and they're telling you, hey, this is what to look for. Hey, these people do this. But you know what? Don't do it yourself. Come to me because I'm certified, because I have, PhD times 10. You can't do it yourself. But listen to my information. Okay. What you're not getting is that you're saying, like, all right, within my sphere of influence and my, I don't know, 10 serious relationships or 5 serious relationships. So let's just say that Sabina has 2 siblings, a brother and a sister. She has an ex-boyfriend or an ex-girlfriend. I don't know. Who knows? And she has her parents. She has some colleagues at work. And within those 10 people that I'm just loosely mentioning, she's like, "Oh, John, who's my boss at work, he's a real narcissist. And he's a covert narcissist." And you have all these reasons and all these diagnoses. I would say, "Okay, what does he do? What are his actions?" Like, "Oh, he does this. He's just a narcissist." Okay, so what does he do? What does he act? How's that affecting you? We can go through that. The reality is, if you lined up 100 covert narcissists, so Sabina's like, here's my covert narcissist, and she donates John to the pile. Rye Flint has one. She goes, "I'm going to nominate um, Karen, who's a good friend of mine, but she's a covert narcissist." And Miguel's like, "Oh, this girl that's in my class, she's definitely a narcissist." And we line up these 100 accused or nominated narcissists, and then we go through this interview process to certify if they're a narcissist or not, right? They would still all be different. Think about that. No one narcissist is the exact same in their actions. Some would like chocolate chip cookies. Some would like carrot cake better. Some would specialize in uh, breaking hearts, and some would be married with 2 kids and take advantage of people in business. I don't know. They would be different though. So the idea that, oh, they're just a narcissist and all narcissists do this, this, and this, okay, but they would have different results and they still would act out differently individually. Does that make sense to anyone? So even in finding out that they're this, that, or the other, which can have some, I've had narcissist people I've associated. Like, wow, that I think they might have been narcissistic. I think they might have been that borderline personality. I've been around someone like this after the fact. I'm like, damn, I think they had that. Now, if I take them and compare them to 100 other people with the same label, they're still going to be different a little bit. That's the part. That's the part people are missing when they group them all in. The other part is um, just going around and diagnosing all these people with these ideas. Some people get addicted to being the judge of who's a narcissist and who's not because they've done all this research and they got to fucking use it. And they've been a victim to a narcissist, so now they're looking for them. It's called cognitive bias. So the best thing is when you have one of these people that have been in your life and then you realize later on that they were one of these labeled people due to your research, just know that even if you meet someone else that seems like them, they're not exactly the same. You're almost more apt to find someone that looks like someone else. Like, "Oh, you look a lot like." How many times in your life have you had someone say, "Oh, you look like this person," or "You look like that"? I've had that a lot, right? But you don't look exactly the same, right? And so this is Riflin said semi-guilty. I'm not telling anyone to feel guilty, but I'm just saying just be aware that even though you're going to label someone like that, even a narcissist could have a soft side. I don't know. And so even when you get that label, they're still individually based. And you can make your exceptions whether you accept that person or not, individually based, even if they tend to have those characteristics. And really, when you do a lot of research, the only thing you're missing, right, especially with psychology and self-improvement and all this stuff, is that how many how many people have you talked to directly with different problems? Because you're just fitting in the research based on your experience and your own problems. And that's okay. But then once you learn that research, you go around trying to do it around everything else, but you don't have the background. So like Riflin's in a breakup, let's just say not now. Sabina's in a breakup. She goes and finds all this research. She goes, "Oh, that's just like what happened to me. This guy's just like this." Okay. But then your sister has a boyfriend, you're like, "Yeah, he's a narcissist," but you don't know all the backstory and all the arguments and stuff. So you're a little less you're more inclined to just relate it to your own thing. All right. Maybe that was really convoluted. I don't know if that was confusing, but do you get what I'm saying? All right, let me just check in with everyone. Jesse Chapman, we only had a few on deck. Sabina Riflin, always a pleasure. I'm scared of so all right, let me read some of these. Life is hard to be planned and controlled fully, things happen. I often use the phrase allow yourself to improvise. You know what I mean? We all improvise. We do it when we drive. Like when you go out and drive, whether it's a bicycle, a motorbike, a car, there's danger. There's a lot of accidents out there. Let me fucking knock on wood, right? There's a lot of accidents out there. There's a lot of danger in driving. But what you're doing is you're not going to go, well, at this freeway, at this place, I got to be extra careful. I got to be that. You might tell yourself that, but just very subconsciously, you're trusting. I've driven enough. I'll get through this. You're trusting that I'll improvise. If someone cuts me off, I'll brake. If the road's wide open, maybe I'll drive a little faster. You're always improvising while you drive. The problem with people with anxiety is they're always trying to figure out the future and what's going to come up. Imagine if you did that every time you got in the car. If I'm on Highway 101 and a tree falls in front of me, what's the plan? What's the odds the fucking tree falls? Really, if that tree falls and you plan on dealing with that, maybe that would be good, but you still would have to react in the moment and improvise because that tree could fall in 5 different ways. No, I'm not. So no accepting chocolate chip cookies. What about banana bread? If they offer banana bread, has someone offered you banana bread recently? It's easy to spot a person with a personality. We cannot fake that mental state of a healthy mind. I mean, just keep in mind that because of these labels and the way that information's being shared, people are looking at you and looking at everyone and saying, "Oh, maybe they fit under this umbrella." Narcissism, the big one, it's not related just because it's because of culture. Narcissism is being created by the internet, by influencers, by different things like that. I don't think it's just something people are innately born with as much as we think. What if there was a narcissistic rehab? You have to do charitable work and work through your karma. All right, folks, I just wanted to get on really quick. It was good to talk to you all. If you want to book a live if you want to book a live coaching session, go to rightmac.com. Otherwise, it's curtains. Have a good day.